Phase 2 preparation and expectations. Season of Discovery.
Done everything you want to on your main, but still want to find things to work towards? Do you need some ideas to progress your character more in Phase 1? Or maybe you'd just like to hear a bit more about what is expected next phase? Well, I may just be able to help there. With Phase 1 of Season of Discovery well underway, and Phase 2 now being confirmed for February 8th, I thought it would be worthwhile to look ahead and do some predictions on how you can prepare, as well as giving you some ideas about new bits of content that should become available. Of course, always take the future of Season of Discovery videos with a grain of salt. For once, this is classic World of Warcraft, where we don't know everything in advance. And for me, the preparation I'll be looking to do will mainly be for setting up my characters for the future, rather than just trying to buy stuff now to sell for more gold later.
I feel like a lot of people are like investing guides, you know, buy all this stuff to become a goldionaire or whatever the heck. I feel like the best way you can really prepare is just prep up your professions. You know, if you know you want to go, let's say, mining and engineering or something like that, just get a lot of mats so you can like level the engineering up as soon as possible. Get your professions done, right? I think that's the best way.
And I'll go over why I'm doing that in a moment. Everything I'll cover in this video will be how things should work in World of Warcraft with a level cap of 40. Remember though, at this seasonal, Blizzard are doing all these big changes to the game, and there's no real guarantee that just because something worked like that back then, that it will do so in Phase 2 of Season of Discovery. Nevertheless, these are a bunch of things that you should be aware of heading into the next phase of the season, and hopefully along the way you'll get a few ideas of ways that you can set up your character for the future as well. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor, HelloFresh. Starting off the new year is a time for changes, improvements, and new goals. And a big part of that for many of us will be around what you eat. And ensuring you're getting the right amount of what you need whilst keeping it healthy can be tricky. But HelloFresh can have that. HelloFresh is a meal delivery service.
Yeah, it's literally just groceries, and then they give you like recipes.
That sends you all the ingredients you need to make delicious home-cooked meals right in your own kitchen. HelloFresh keeps your options interesting by offering 45 weekly recipes and over 100 curated picks from the HelloFresh market. You can also pick and choose depending on how you want to eat. Maybe you want vegetarian, vegan, more protein, whatever you need, there are options. The meals include exact amounts of what you need, instructions, and no excess waste. What I like about these meals is not only can they get you on track to better eating in general, but they also help you level up your real-life cooking skill.
Honestly, it's not a bad thing.
2024 off right, and let HelloFresh help you hit your goals. They even have...
it will always be more expensive just buying your own just doing this than buying your own food, but I mean, I guess it's an okay alternative.
Have an offer on at the moment where whilst you remain subscribed, you'll get one free breakfast item with each box. So go to HelloFresh.com and use my code POGWilly13.
I don't know why I'm reacting to ads. I'm sorry, I had too much caffeine today.
To check HelloFresh out today. Many thanks to HelloFresh for the sponsor. Let's get back to WoW. Let's start by talking about gold, because typically it's incredibly important in Classic, and I still think it's going to be useful to have a good amount, but just not as important as it's been in the past.
Not at all.
So I mentioned at the start that gold isn't a huge part of the plan for me moving forwards. Why?
I feel like you don't need as much gold in SOD and stuff like that. Maybe in level 60 it's going to be different, but as long as you have enough gold for consumables and everything like that, then you're kind of chilling, and it's quite easy to make gold right now with questing and stuff.
Is that then? Well, back in Season of Mastery, Blizzard made a whole bunch of changes to alleviate players needing to farm to keep up with the gold requirements, which are typically involved with this game. They did things such as making elemental water or earth drop from herb or mining nodes, making Black Lotus drop from high-level herbs such as Plague Bloom.
In a way, I kind of like that, honestly, because Black Lotus is always such a pain in the butt to get, man, and it's kind of just makes it like, who wants to pay 200-300 gold for a flask of Supreme Power, right?
Similar to how Fel Lotus worked in TBC,
like a low drop
in addition to Black Lotus just having way more of their own individual nodes too. And I remember because of changes such as these, flasks were about 20 to 25 gold on Season of Mastery.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can also see why some people definitely prefer just Black Lotuses only, but let's be honest, Black Lotus spawns will literally be camped by bots. They will be sitting a bot on every single Black Lotus spawn there is and instantly taking it when it spawns, right? So it kind of takes away that. I kind of like the low chance of getting a Lotus, like a very low chance. If you get a Plague Bloom or a Mountain Silver Sage, you can get something like that, right? That could be kind of cool.
Of course, all of this is way off in the future at the moment, but it's just around the intention, because another step that was in Season of Mastery was halving the price of mounts, and this appears as though it will be the case in Season of Discovery.
Yep,
you can go check a mount trainer or vendor at the moment and see that riding is 9 gold and the mount is 36 gold.
Yep.
I'm on a character which is only rank 2 here, so I only have the race specific 10% discount. If you are PvP rank 3, you'll have a 20% discount instead, and you can get rank 3 pretty fast, by the way. If you get 15 honorable kills, then wait for the weekly reset, you'll be rank 2, and then the week after you earn 4,500 honor, wait for the following reset and you'll be rank 3.
Just download the add-on called Ranker and it shows you exactly how much honor you're missing.
Gives a pretty good cloak as well, so maybe that's an extra reason to do it if you've been putting it off. Oh, and also certain races can't use certain mounts. For example, Night Elves can't use Mechanostriders, Tauren can't use Undead Horses, and so on. So if you're going to grind out Exalted with another faction for some reason because they have your favorite mount, you might want to check up on the restrictions first. I know it's a pretty big step to say they're halving mount costs, so Black Lotus and things in the future are going to be easy to get to, but I think since the server is seasonal, it makes sense to do 4 fun gameplay changes on Blizzard's part.
I agree.
Another reason gold has been diminished is because
this is not going to be an evergreen server like hardcore that's going to be staying up forever. It's a seasonal thing, right? So test out things, see how it works, and you make the most fun thing possible, right? At level 60, do we just farm our usual raid gear, or will there be new stuff? Well, I hope there will be new stuff. I mean, I still believe, and I think a lot of people are in the same boat, the level 60 raid that they will incorporate that's going to be new will be Karasan Crypts. And I really hope it's going to be that, because I think that would be so epic. Karasan Crypts would be a awesome raid to get, man. And yeah, Grim Batal, like give us some new stuff, man. Give us something new for sure. I'm not ecstatic about the thought of having to run Molten Core on completely bissed out Season Discovery characters, because let's be honest, Molten Core will just be easy clap. It's gonna be so easy, right? It's gonna be a level 55 raid. I don't think so. I think it's gonna be 60, but we'll see. Maybe something else in Kalimdor. Yeah, perhaps something else in Kalimdor could be cool as well, right? You can check Karasan Crypts on Turtle WoW. I don't play Turtle WoW, but I bet they probably made something similar on Turtle WoW too.
So much at level cap now with questing. People are running around at level 25 with hundreds of gold. This has never happened before. Sure, it will have a knock-on effect for prices on the auction house, but things such as your mount cost and spell ranks aren't going to feel anywhere near as bad on your wallet in Season of Discovery. And bonus gold from level 40 quests will be even higher because there's even more experience to be converted. And then we get to do this at level 50 as well. So yeah, I think everyone's going to have quite a lot of gold for it being vanilla. And even if you're like me and you've basically cleared the map on your main, done all the pre-questing and are planning to dungeon grind, Agrend has already tweeted out that there may be other options for leveling once the cap has been raised.
Yeah, they did say that. There was like a tweet about that where he's like, dungeon grind is one thing, but who's to say there won't be a new things to help with leveling? So there's gonna be some sort of like new way of leveling, a new, I don't know. I mean, that's interesting though. Scarlet Monastery raid were all gold bars. I think like the biggest thing as well is the raid at level 60. There has to be something new because people are already pushing like 300 DPS at level 25. Like imagine level 40, 50, and 60. How much we're gonna be doing. It's a little bit of a concern actually, because if we're already doing this much DPS, it's gonna be absolutely ridiculous. The Agrand comment is open to interpretation. Yeah, of course. Imagine the madness to get into Molten Core and SOD PvP servers. I mean, Blackrock Mountain has always been a little bit of a shithole. People already do 3-3-3 runs for BFD. MC is 100% going to be done with small groups to maximize loot. Are you saying people are 3-manning BFD? Really? Nah, there's no way you can 3-man. Can you? Wait, this makes me want to try that. We did it with 5 people a while back, but we used Gringes to kill Kilris. I bet you, man, if I play on my warrior and play the insane one-button spec, plus a priest healer, plus a hunter, I think that could slap. Or like, or me, a feral druid, and then a priest, because of Wind Fury, right? I don't know, dude. I think that could slap, man. Holy, that could actually be kind of sick.
And for me, I am still on the fence about turning in all my pre-quests for the gold now while I can, rather than waiting for XP in Phase 2, but I'm going to hold off a little bit longer decision. So overall for gold, it's very nice to have within the game, but I just don't see it being as important as it usually is in a seasonal server. If I was to say a number to try and have though, 50 or more would be nice, but even then you're going to earn a good amount extra between levels 25 and 40, especially if you dungeon grind and then go back and complete quests
I wouldn't
afterwards.
stress about gold.
Those are my thoughts on gold though, because it's time to talk professions. They're in a super interesting spot at level 40, and I
really hope engineering gets something new. There hasn't been any new engineering stuff yet, so I hope engineering will get something new.
Much guarantee there's going to be more to this than you think there is. So this is all based off an assumption, a pretty big assumption, but one I feel confident in making. In Phase 2, we'll be able to advance to expert level in professions, and we'll cap out at 225 skill. And the artisan level, which typically can be trained at skill 200 with level 35, will be made unavailable. If you go and check...
Yeah, engineering doesn't really need anything, does it? Other professions do. That is a fair point. Yeah, that is very true as well. Engineering already is extremely strong, but I don't know, even if it's just like a random gadget or something like that, I still think that could be quite cool to see. But I definitely do agree that the other professions probably need more love than engineering does. Because engineering in of itself is already a very complete profession. That is very true.
Okay, gathering profession trainer. You can already see the artisan tier has been moved to needing level 41, similar to how expert had been moved to level 26 during Phase 1. You can't see this on profession trainers who are related to crafting though for some reason. Either way, I think it makes sense seeing how things have gone so far. The reason Blizzard have done this is so people don't go around very high level zones farming endgame tier materials, which could then craft items which would be super OP for our level. It would basically be a super degenerate way to play the game, and even though it is classic, which typically is pretty degen, I don't think Blizzard want that becoming the meta. So let's say...
I just think it's good they disable loot above, I think it's above level 30 or so, mobs just don't drop loot and there's no chests and stuff. It's good. It's just a good change.
We can get to 225 in any profession. What does this mean? Let's talk about herbalism first. So there are a pair of gloves crafted through leatherworking, which give a +5 to herbalism that can be obtained in Phase 1. The pattern is alliance only though, so expect...
If you... Oh my god, sorry. If you play a Tauren right now and you get the herbalist gloves, you are actually the only race that can get Gold Thorn. And Gold Thorn is used in many alchemy ways. So Taurens can actually get really far ahead by farming Gold Thorn, because you are only able to get it as Tauren. Because they have I think it's plus 15 herbalism.
To pay more on the Horde, as they will have needed to have been traded through the neutral auction house. Next phase, we can also get a +5 herbalism enchant from elementals.
Stop talking? Guys, people need to know, okay? It's okay if people know that. It's out there, you know?
Western Swamp of Sorrows. This means anyone, providing you can equip leather or above, can get to 235 herbalism. 230 herbalism is needed for Sungrass, which will be used in the best tier of health potion in Phase 2, and 235 herbalism is for Blindweed, which don't have practical uses at level 40, but will go up in price a lot in Phase 3 because of limited invulnerability potions and superior mana potions. But wait, there's more. If you're a Tauren, you can go all the way to 250 herbalism thanks to your racial bonus. At this level, you can pick both Ghost Mushroom as well as Grom's Blood. These are both
Grom's Blood are used for rage potions, I know.
Needed for some very high-end potions, such as, again, limited invulnerability potions, as well as mighty rage. And whilst these won't be craftable during the 40...
These potions are like... Warriors are gonna be slurping these up. Oh my god. This is like the warrior potion, bro. Like, it's so good, man.
Rage.
It gives 60 strength and then rage as well.
And whilst these won't be craftable during the 40 bracket, they will both have very high demand for the 50 bracket and onwards. And if you can find a decent farming spot, these will sell well in the future for sure. So all in all, get a pair of those herbalist gloves already, and keep in mind the enchant next phase. Speaking of potions, there is definitely space for speculation on protection potions here. Shadow protection potions can turn Twilight Lord Kelris from a pretty problematic boss into a kind of easy one. So just think of some of the bosses that'll be in Gnomeregan. The final boss typically calls in a bunch of walking bombs that do fire damage, and electric damage is nature-based in World of Warcraft. And there are so many mechanical units which could do nature damage. And don't forget about...
Yeah, it's also like a lot of stuff is probably nature resistant and like is resistant to bleeds. Gnomeregan will actually be an interesting raid though, depending on all those vulnerabilities as well. Thank you, Amaus, for the 21s, by the way. I remember running around in Felwood and Classic Era hardcore farming herbs so I can join raids. Yeah.
Actually buying the recipe as well. Nature protection, for example, is in a bunch of places way higher than our level cap at the moment, such as Tanaris, Feralis, or STV, but you can go and buy it now if you want. Mining is also worth bringing up. So next phase there is a +5 enchant to mining skill from the Goblin Miners down in southeastern STV. This means we can get to 230 mining, and at 230 mining, we can mine true silver and dark iron ore. The problem is you won't be able to smelt them because you actually need 230 in the skill to learn the ability from your trainer, not 225 +5 from the level boost, if that makes sense. But perhaps if there's a good reason to have either of these ores for next bracket, it will be worth farming them. Another way we can more consistently get true silver next phase should be through transmuting mithril bars. It's the same transmute cooldown you would typically be using on Arcanite bars at level 60, and it shares the same cooldown with it, so it's never really been useful before. This will be changing next phase, and transmuting very well may be a decent gold maker.
Oh my god, engineering is so good. Price of true silver is always pretty low, not much use of it. Yeah, exactly. What's up, Nils Ventura? I really hope they don't nerf mechanicals because rogues are crying. I don't think they should either. If anything, it might like even out the scales a little bit in terms of the damage, but I guess we'll see.
True silver is needed in a bunch of engineering crafts, and engineering starts to get pretty amazing next phase, which brings me to my next point. First, we need to talk about gnomes and gnomish engineering. That +15 bonus ratio to Engi is about to get really good in phase 2. So again, assuming we can train to 225, that's going to put gnomes at 240 engineering with their...
Yeah, wait, I'm a gnome on Guzvaldu.
Ratio, which means gnomes will be able to train Gnomish Death Ray, which has always been good in PvP, Sniper Scope, which will be the best range weapon scope unless something is new in the game, all the way until level 60 when the Molten Core
you can get Death Ray at 40?
Replaces it. Gnomish Mind Control Cap, another great PvP tool, Gnomish Battle Chicken, which has a chance to proc an attack speed buff, and many more. Keep in mind that some of these are bind on equip, but they also kind of have random engineering requirements too. For example, you could buy a mind control cap off the auction house and it only needs 215 engineering to equip, so even though only gnomes can make them, anyone can wear them. However,
wait, this means this opens up a market for Booty Bay auction house for Alliance. Because the only way you can get it as Horde then is if you buy it from a gnome. So there's gonna be a massive market for expensive like mind control caps. Oh shit. Yeah, if any Horde players want that mind control cap, they need to buy it from that. And it's also the other part from Horde, because Horde has torrents, right? So if you want to buy herbs from the torrents, I guess.
Battle Chicken needs 230 to make and equip, so essentially it's gnome only.
But you guys want on 230 engineering? You need to be, that's what he just said, you need to be 215 to use the control cap. So 230 to craft it, but 215 to use it. So you can use it even if you can't craft it.
Use the neutral auction house and pay a premium. Now, of course, these items are not only made by gnomes, but you'll also need to be a gnomish engineer, which has a few items that you need to turn in as part of a quest. You can prepare most of the materials for this in advance now. One more thing to keep in mind for engineering, we're going to be able to get goblin sapper charges next phase, and sappers were a big reason engineering has always been so popular in Classic. Other professions have been pretty great so far, but this may just well tip the scale for engineering once again.
Engineering just is the best profession in Classic. It's the one they really made the best, man. It's so good. 10 chars, 10 times engineering. I like how they're trying to make it a little nuance on the game relevant. I agree. It's also the
You need
most
to be
fun.
a goblin
Yeah,
engineer to
exactly.
learn how to craft them with a skill of 205, but any engineer with skill 205 can use them, however. All the same, it may well be worth investing into a goblin engineer on an alt to get these
Yeah,
made, as they're going to
100%.
be really expensive. Similar to gnomish engineering, you need to do a pre-quest where you hand in a bunch of items before you can learn the goblin-specific items.
Yep.
However, once again, you can prepare a bunch of them now. I went and checked other professions too to see if there was anything noteworthy. It appears as though you won't be able to get weaponsmithing or armor smithing at level 40. For armor smithing, everything is too high level, and for weaponsmithing, Big Black Mace was a bit too high level. This means for the PvP enjoyers, no
the rocket helmet as well. Rocket helmet classic. Wow. Yeah, I think rocket helmet also requires you to be. Yeah, rocket helmet requires you to be 235. So gnomes will be the only ones that can use rocket helmet as well. Yeah, if you can get to 240 as a gnome, then you can use this, and they will be the only ones that can use this. There's also one more thing. There's this. So obviously, if you can wear plate, which is warriors and paladins, you can get a horned Viking helmet, right? Which is the same use case as a goblin rocket helmet, but that's the only point, right? What level to make it though? 235, I believe, right? Unless... Oh, no, it's 245 to make it. Ooh, yeah, well, so that means you actually can craft it. No, so that'll be a level 54 Goblin Rocket Helmet. Yeah, never mind then. But yeah, this is only Horde, obviously. Because you have to kill the Eric the Swift from Uldaman to get this helmet. So yeah. No rocket helmet next phase.
Insignia at 40. And unless I'm missing something, tribal leatherworking was also, surprisingly, just outside of reach. The quest to learn this sub-profession needs certain items which require 230 leatherworking to make, such as Nightskate pants or the turtle scale helm. This means unless I'm missing some leatherworking buff which does exist in the game, as things currently are, you won't be able to get a wolf's head helm at level 40. Another profession to think about when
That's a little bit of a shame, yeah. The wolf shit helm is really good. It's like the bread and butter for helmets for feral druids.
The patch drops is first aid,
and
you should go and buy your first aid level up box sooner rather than later. Might not seem like a super top priority, but everyone will need to train their first aid. At the moment in phase 1, you need a book called First Aid Under Wraps to advance beyond Journeyman, but this
is not a big deal. I mean, you get it in Arathi Highlands as Alliance, and you get it in Dustwillow Marsh as Horde, but you just do it while you're leveling, because you gotta go to those zones anyway. I guess except if you dungeon spam.
It's just not in the game, and you'll be able to buy it from Dustwallow Marsh for the Horde, or Arathi Highlands for the Alliance. They also sell manuals for heavy silk and mage weave bandages, which you will need as well in time. So you can either put an alt there in advance to buy them from the vendors, or just spend extra and buy them off the auction house. The final thought for professions is, if you play a bunch of alts, I would level up a whole variety of them. As we are at the moment, prices for phase 1 materials are about as cheap as they're going to be. Once we start progressing on towards 40, all these low-level materials are going to get more expensive because there will just be less people doing the content.
Honestly, it's true. It might be a good idea if like there's certain things that it's usable for like professions. Might be a good idea to just buy them now. You know, if you want to level up more professions.
Moving on though, I've got a few random thoughts to finish up on. Nifty stopwatch will be possible to get by level 40.
Ooh,
this is just an all-round very useful trinket to have, and you can prepare most of the items apart from the frost oil at the moment. Everything related to this trinket will go up in price after the patch, so it would be nice to store them in the bank somewhere. And I know it's a vague point to make, but you could speculate on basically anything that people will need to use a lot of, and it could 10x in price. You know fish oil in phase 1, which are typically vendor trash, and they became super valuable because everyone...
This is good. I like this. Like random new things we don't know about, like changes the economy, changes like what's worth what. Like that's the one thing that Classic in a way always lacked. It's the unknown, right? Like discovering new things. And I really am excited for more new stuff for phase 2 for sure. What's up, Pixie Pants? What's up, Willow?
One needed them for runes. Any item could get this same treatment. And if an item is trending towards being at or lower than vendor price on the auction house, you don't really have anything to lose if you just make a list of them and start buying random stuff. Who knows, maybe they do become necessary later on. Of course, you want to finish off getting your runes sorted. It might not be a good rune that you use at the moment, but with future runes and synergies and talents, who knows whether it will become part of your strongest build. Finish up leveling your professions to their cap, including your secondary professions if you fancy it. Professions in general seem to be a bit more impactful than usual this season so far, and there's no reason not to expect that trend to continue. And finally, just make the most of level 25 whilst it's here. I know people are always pushing for the next patch and for phase content, but if phase 2 happens around when I think it will, I'd say phase 1 has had a pretty good duration. Blizzard...
I think it's been quite nice. From like a perspective of a content creator, yes, it is quite long, but for me, it gives me time to just do a little bit of alts, do some other things and chill a little bit, and then get excited for the next phase. I think the duration has been quite okay overall. Am I planning on playing Sword Core? Because they need to change the add-on. As of right now, no one can do Gnomer again because the add-on system max level is level 38. I'm not planning to do any Sword Core content before phase 2 comes out and we like bring it back, right? I don't really want to... I don't know. For me, Sword Core was over kind of when I beat Akumai. It's like I killed Akumai, you know, I did all the things and then that's it. For the next time I play Sword Core will be in phase 2. So that's basically it, right? That's how I see it.
Capping us at 25 has truly been one of the best decisions they've made in this season so far. If you made it to the end, drop a sub on the channel, as I'm going to have loads of Season of Discovery content coming throughout its whole duration. That's all from me today. So, thank you all very much for watching and listening in. And I'll see you all on the next one.
Very soon.
Very soon.
Good video though. I like it. Nice video. It brings up a lot of good points actually I didn't really think about before now. Especially in regards to the professions and the gathering stuff. So, very, very nice video from Willy. Really enjoyed it.